Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. A few days ago, Warner Bros. Stated that they'd be making an announcement soon regarding Justice League. They allowed the suspense to build amongst their fans until yesterday, when they revealed that Zack Snyder had invited multiple journalists who were highly critical of Batman v Superman to the set of Justice League. The motive for the invite is obvious: to win over negative critics and resultantly audiences who avoided the last film like the plague. No matter how much Zack Snyder fans point out that Batman v Superman made no mean sum at the box office, the fact remains that it fell mortally short of both Warner Bros. Expectations and the stakes they had placed on the film to save their annual numbers and please their shareholders. Warner Bros. Ignored the film's criticisms for as long as they could, but as the box office numbers dwindled heavily each weekend, they began announcing changes to their teams behind the DC Extended Universe. If they wanted to fire Zack Snyder from Justice League, it was far too late to do so by then, as he was already filming. So they made vast behind-the-scenes changes, bringing in fan favorite Jeff Johns and attempting the delicate business of winning opposing audiences while not losing their current one. This tightrope act can be seen in the announcements yesterday. For the most part, the journalists were in lockstep in what sounded like a planned publicity-type message. Justice League Part 1 is still very much a Zack Snyder film, but will be more colorful and lighthearted. In other words, Batman v Superman fans, don't worry, nothing's really changing. Oh, but Batman v Superman critics? Don't worry, lots of stuff is changing. Moviegoers on either side of the issue, though, have to ask themselves, is that really possible? Most defenses of Batman v Superman seem predicated on the fact that it was solemn, dark, and serious, and not, quote, that kiddie stuff like they do at Marvel. Meanwhile, most criticisms of the film seem to take issue primarily with the usual Zack Snyder aesthetic: muted colors, themes, and operatic content over story and character development. How can fixing one side truly not harm the other? It's a valid question and one that can't be brushed away. In online forums, two attempts are most often made to ridicule this concern. The first is to point out that no one has seen the film in its entirety yet, so how can anyone criticize or question how brilliant it might be? There's a kernel of truth in this claim, but it's taken far past its logic in these instances. Discernment is a good thing when it comes to the arts. Taking into account the filmmaker's history and the material they revealed they're working with is how you decide which films to spend your time and money on and which films to skip. While sometimes taking a chance on a film might pay off, it's only natural to have certain standards. Otherwise, why not strap in for a snuff film or a scat porn movie? Don't say no, you haven't seen it yet. The most likely balance here is that for those who thought Batman v Superman was just okay or slightly disappointing, would most likely think it worthwhile to throw the dice on Justice League Part 1. Those repulsed by Zack Snyder's vision for these characters, however, will feel no differently about this sequel. Justice League will be the fifth movie released in the universe established by Zack Snyder's Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and it will be the third film in that universe directed by Zack Snyder himself. A director can only vary so much in his approach. Few are capable of wide ranges in theme and tone, and those who have proven the exception, like Howard Hawks and Steven Spielberg, are concerned with story over aesthetic, the opposite of Zack Snyder's approach. Furthermore, a film can only vary so much from its predecessors when set in the same universe. Tones can differ as long as they're true to a common theme. Look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for example. The overall continuity can flow from Winter Soldier to Ant-Man and back to Civil War. The first film deals with dark content and high-stakes suspense. The second is a lighthearted heist film, and the third is a gut-wrenching action drama. What they each have solidly in common, though, is the theme of hope. It's possible to do the right thing, no matter how bleak or difficult the situation appears, these movies tell us. Whether it's Cap facing the corruption of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s worldwide network, Scott Lang trying to overcome his past to be a hero for his daughter, or Cap again facing opposition and betrayal from his very friends and team. Each character finds it's possible to remain true to their virtues and to do the right thing. So what are the common themes we see in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman? An assertion that there is no clear right path, death and devastation will occur no matter what, and that heroism is grueling and thankless. They might toss a few jokes in, but how can a truly uplifting film be made in a universe established on these themes? Zack and Deborah Snyder have claimed they'll no longer be deconstructing heroes, that they'll provide a Superman and other characters recognizable to traditional fans, that they'll take inspiration from Alex Ross, and so on. But how recognizable of a character do they think they'll be able to show us after the level of deconstruction they've already engaged in? How traditional can Superman be after questioning whether humans deserve to be saved and acting so often out of anger and fear? As for Alex Ross, Zack showed us in his Frank Miller-inspired Batman v Superman that what he calls inspiration is visual, with character poses and costume homages, not with the crucial character-building storylines. The second attempt often made to silence concerns about these films is to claim that people are just being negative. They should have more faith and try to see the good in things instead. This is the straw man fallacy, for by labeling an argument as negative, they attempt to avoid reasoning it out. The claim mistakes basic critical thinking and discernment for predilection for negativity. Are you being negative in the supermarket when you skip over mushy, overripe produce? Of course not. So why should you be called negative when, while deciding how to spend your money at the theater, you decide to skip the film from the director who has consistently produced disheartening content about moral ambiguity? It's hard to imagine how Warner Brothers can have its cake and eat it too at this point. They've placed all their chips on Zack Snyder's vision for these characters, and it's earned them some fans, but not nearly the amount they've banked on. Now they find themselves in the precarious situation of having to convince audiences that they'll somehow be able to please both fans and critics of Snyder's relentlessly dark realism, all in the universe he's already established. If you're curious as to how well Justice League will be received and perform at the box office, I say the safe bet is to look no farther than this spring's Batman v Superman numbers. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments, but be specific on the how. This debate has seen enough fanboy hissy fits on all sides. If you think Warner Brothers can pull it off, cite some previous works from the filmmakers involved, or postulate storylines or character alterations you think could defy the odds. If you think Warner Brothers is in way over its head, let me know that too and why. I'll be back this weekend with another look at some of this week's new releases on the comic racks. Until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the superhero stories you love. Thanks for watching.